Hello, friends of Germany. After the recent and continuing Trump meltdown of the German media since the inauguration, I feel inclined to disavow these losers and explain to you the German media landscape. Because not only is it an arrogant hubris to Nazify the president of the strongest military if you are in as bad of a shape as we are, but the sheer journalistic laziness that borders on being flat-out slackers is mind-boggling. Follow me through the German media landscape. The German mainstream media has declared war on Donald Trump. It has been bad, but recently it has gotten a lot worse. Take a look at this recent cover of the German weekly newspaper Der Stern, which means the Star. It reads, "His Kampf," referring to Hitler's book Mein Kampf, "Neo-Nazis, Ku Klux Klan, Racism, How Donald Trump Stirs Up Hatred in America." I feel so ashamed and angry that this is what international viewers might see when they look for news from Germany. This is not how we are. This doesn't represent our people. This is leftist arrogance meddling in the political affairs of other countries. Think what you will about Donald Trump, but the sheer audacity to claim heinous crimes and attitudes without really knowing what is going on in the United States makes me want to disavow most of the German media. You might say, that's one bad apple. Actually, there are hardly any good apples left in Germany. Take a look at Der Spiegel. They claim to sell 760,000 copies every week and to have an indirect readership of over 6 million readers in 2017. I doubt that they have a tenth of that, but that's just speculation, much like their numbers. Let's have a look at their recent covers. The true Donald Trump with a KKK hat on. How original. You should know that Der Spiegel was a respected newspaper 5 years ago. This all changed with the Ukraine crisis. Now it's just a pathetic residue of their former journalistic powerhouse reputation. The State of a Nation was an edition from the beginning of August. In one picture, the oh-so-great Chancellor Merkel kicks a soccer ball directly into Donald Trump's face. Anger control disorder much, I'd say. Then we have You're Fired, where Trump golf swings Earth into space for a trip of no return. Can you guess the title story? World Climate, Donald Trump declares war on sanity. Next, from April of this year. Death Game, Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un risk nuclear war, with both depicted as irrational babies, leaving out, of course, that there has been a history of failure with North Korea and Bill Clinton, George W. Bush and Barack Obama. Then, of course, the double president. How much Putin is in Trump? The super debunked, never proven CNN Trump-Russia narrative, just copied without asking questions. Need I say more? Then the infamous Trump beheading the Statue of Liberty. You may have heard about this one. And yes, it is as bad as it looks. Let's take a look at 2016. And you might never guess who Der Spiegel supported in the election. Insanity! America's hate monger Donald Trump. We're going chronologically now. This was the first Trump cover at the beginning of 2016. The mission! Hillary Clinton has to save the world from Donald Trump. Delusion much? I guess they haven't done their research on Clinton. 5 minutes before Trump. Hillary Clinton's weakness is becoming a danger to the world. The next president. Screenplay of a tragedy. The leading article reads, "The US election damages democracy." And I saved the best for last, the end of the world how we know it, with Trump as a Jupiter-sized meteor on a screaming, flaming way to destroy our beloved blue planet. As you can imagine, the German media landscape is not only left-leaning, it is flat-out leftist, with a few examples near the center. That's all. But I want to point out the role of the United States in this fiasco too. After the Second World War, The Americans overtook German state media and installed a very anti-Nazi media establishment to denazify the German people who weren't supporting the Nazis that much anyway, apart from Hitler's propaganda films. But I digress. The Nazi ideology was the enemy, so the American occupying forces were looking for very anti-Nazi elites. And they found them in other leftists who were happily taking over the entire German state media, by far the most powerful media in Germany. And after about 1 million documentaries and 1 billion broadcasts of those documentaries, how the Nazis were right-wing and all Germans were Nazis and anti-social and we can just be good people by being the supposed complete opposite of Nazis and embrace more and more socialism, people were buying it. What a scam! And yes, there were actually thousands and thousands of Nazi and Hitler documentaries like Hitler's Helpers, and I'm not making this up, Hitler's Record, Hitler's Helpers 2, Hitler's Children, etc, etc, etc. So the Germans were brainwashed all right. Lastly, what about the German alternative media? Well, we're still pretty weak, but we're growing. Actually, with my 40,000 subscribers, I'm one of the leading voices in the conservative spectrum. 10 years ago, we were basically under 5 channels, but we're growing. And of course, there's a lot of alternative leftist media too, some of whom have been used by Chancellor Merkel to reach younger audiences. All in all, Germany is in a pretty bad shape regarding the media. And our alternative media isn't nearly as strong as in America, partly due to a lack of entrepreneurial spirit and terrible media regulation and censorship efforts by the government masquerading as hate speech prevention. The state media takes in 8 billion euros or $9.4 billion each year to fund their state propaganda. And the dominant political parties like Merkel's CDU and SPD own a lot of newspapers and media companies which they use now to portray the AfD as Nazis. The AfD is the only party which isn't corrupted as much yet as the establishment parties. I hope I could give you a look into the German media landscape. Subscribe to this channel and, if you can, donate so we can bring you the real news from Germany regularly. Thank you very much and bye.